Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a bench press day, or we'll just call it an upper body day at this point. In keeping with my trend, I am going all the way to the limits of legal grip bench width, so my index finger is now on the rings. I'm benching flat back, trying to do long pauses, and 315 I did a double today. I felt like I could have got 3. So I'm getting used to this wide grip and long range of motion. And a lot of people have kind of chimed in and said, oh, why are you doing this? You're getting weaker. Guys, it's going to make my chest bigger. And I'm doing the harder version, and I have a feeling when I go back in, throw some wrist wraps on, do some close grip, any of that stuff, I'm going to have a pretty good bench when I finish cutting, or particularly when I start eating more again. I'm down to 220 this morning. I kind of poofed up to around 227 is where I was sitting, and then I started the cut, and I'm already down to 220. And as you guys can see, obviously the loose skin and stuff is still there, but I feel like it's going to keep tightening up. I feel like at this point I want to get to about 210, and then I want to kind of see what it looks like, and then kind of assess if I think it's going to really tighten up or not. So what I'm also doing here, because I'm trying to always do a heavy set and then do my rep work, I went ahead and went heavier on the weighted pull-ups. I'm now able to do a nice overhand grip pull-up, which is great for my back, great for my grip. And I went with a 45-pound plate. I got 3 reps, but again, keeping in mind I couldn't do pull-ups just a few weeks ago. I've got my shoulder health and mobility to where I can do them. I want to keep working the range of motion. I'm going to keep trying to do them from a pause at the bottom. All right, I want to keep doing that. But the reps went up on these, so even though I went a little heavier and only got 3, it got 2 sets of 8, right? And I felt like these didn't hit failure. So I'm taking these down to a dead hang for the range of motion that I have. As you guys can tell, it is a hang for me. But we're going to keep working that. I'm doing supine grip dead hangs every day. I'm doing the pullovers, and the range of motion is improving, and I'm going to keep working that mobility, keep working on stretching all of that stuff, opening up my shoulder joints, everything. I'm going to keep doing that, and I want to fix that, just like I've got it to where I can now squat pretty deep, right? I'm going to fix all these things because I have to. Okay, and a lot of people don't like what I'm doing. They're like, oh, it's going to make you regress on bench. It's like, no, guys, I need to get mobile. I need to get fit. Okay, I need to get fit. So we're going to get leaner, we're going to work on conditioning, and I'm going to build muscle through by doing all these lengthened position movements. And then I have a feeling my bench and everything, so I'm still going to end up hitting a 405 bench. Now, because I'm choosing to cut right now, it won't happen as quick, but again, if I build enough pec and build enough tricep while doing all this stuff, when I go back to the other style of benching, and what I mean when I've said if I go close grip, I've always been stronger close grip. Look how much work it took me to get that wide grip up to the 365, and it still didn't move as fast as my close grip did the year before, right? So that's what I mean by I PR'd on my bench. I only had about a 335 wide grip, or pinkies on rings, because now I'm doing really wide. I only had a 335 when I close gripped 365. Close grip meaning 16 inches, right? Index finger at the edge of the smooth. So, and that may end up being my strongest position no matter what I do. Okay? It may end up being there. And if that's the way it is, next time I power lift or do a meet in the future, I may just have to close grip. That's okay. But I'm going to do all this wide grip training because it's going to build my chest. And I'm realizing that for outreach and everything else, I have to get leaner, I have to get more jacked. That just being strong isn't enough. In this market, it's just not for people to hear your message. If you don't look a certain way, they're not going to listen to your message no matter how strong your clients are, no matter how strong you are. So, okay, I'm going to get leaner. I'm going to fill out my pecs, fill out my arms. It's cool. Again, it'll only make me a better lifter. It'll make me a better athlete. So incline, we're doing the same thing. I'm going all the way to that ultra wide grip, pausing everything. Rows, I'm taking these down, doing them really strict. And I know this is silly lightweight for me because you guys seen what I can row and I can use a little body English. But you know what? I'm stretching everything, getting that deeper stretch at the bottom. Let's just work everything. It's fine. Even though it's going lighter, my back will probably grow from all that too. the dead hang pull-ups, doing the rows like that, my lats will probably get even bigger. Everyone already compliments my back. The incline bench though, yeah, these burn. And I've noticed that, when I start getting up above, 5 reps or so on these, the weight I can use, it gets kind of silly as to how light I have to go. Because when I go all out and really try to push it, you guys will see me do 225 for 9. But when I'm doing all this wide grip pausing and trying to take the reps high for multiple sets, it feels like even that 185 burns like hell. And if the last rep is slow and feels really difficult, then I'm still getting the desired result. But again, I'm trying to work the chest on those. I could probably bring those in, again, closer grip, put the wrist wraps on, all that stuff, and crank out some pretty good stuff if I needed to now. But I'm not worried about it. Again, I'm doing the hardest versions of all these exercises. I'm trying to get everything in the lengthened position because I need to grow. And I am protein overfeeding on this cutting, which is one reason I feel like I may be able to gain a little muscle. I'm down again more weight this week, and some of these lifts are slightly improved. So I can live with that. Keep working on it. Yeah, my volumes are a little higher because, again, I'm doing this stuff like twice a week now. I'm doing it twice a week. But we end up with 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of incline, 3 sets of pull-ups, 3 sets of rows. Okay? That's a decent amount. That's 6 sets for back, 6 sets for chest. If we don't count the pullovers. If we count the pullovers, which I think we should, because I'm pushing them hard now, it's technically 9. Then when I'm doing the arm work. So it ends up being all that, and then I do 3 sets of extensions, 3 sets of curls. So again, making sure the biceps and triceps get similar volumes if we count the pullovers. Now the thing is that I need to talk about, I'm getting extreme DOMs in my triceps. I never had that previously. So this lengthened position stuff that I'm able to do now as a result of the pullovers, I feel like is given some kind of novel training response that I haven't had in many, many, many years. Because I used to do those standing behind the head ones really heavy when I was back in the UK. I used to jokingly call them Tricepticons, if you guys remember, about 10 years ago. But for a little while, I was doing those with a full plate on each side, standing up, cleaning it up, and just doing with a barbell. I was doing, 60 kilograms for those. And they stretched like crazy. But this gives a good stretch too. So again, I'm noticing I'm getting a lot of DOMs in the long head. And I think it's probably the combination of this with the pullovers. But again, my long head lacks. It's really what makes my triceps look so small, because I've close gripped 365. I don't think my lateral head and all that are that underdeveloped to pull that off. So pull-ups, though, can stretch the long head. Pullovers hit it. And then my extensions themselves are hitting it. All right, curls, what I'm doing now, and again, I decided not to add some incline curls yet. I will eventually add incline curls. I'm trying to do these super strict, and I'm doing these pretty much to failure. I might have someone comment and say, oh, those are like 5 reps in reserve. I'm literally failing on some of these sets. The first set I didn't. The second set, the third set, I went to do another rep from the bottom and the weight didn't move. I literally hit muscle failure. Okay. That first set I didn't. I had left a rep or so. But as I got to the second and third, I went ahead and pushed them to failure. These extensions are real close. I had to really grind through the final rep of the last set, and I didn't get as many reps as the first 2. So again, we're building up all that fatigue. But again, lengthened position, strict stuff, trying to get bigger. But we always start with some heavy work. Like I said, I did a nice heavy double on the bench, even though it's this style, which is far more difficult for me. Did a heavy triple on the pull-ups. And then we went into all the rep work, right? Everything else has been 8 to 15 reps after that. Okay, so here we go with the curls. And on these sets, actually, I did hit failure. And I always think it's fascinating that people are like, oh, that is like, what do you mean? The weight didn't move, I hit failure. I went to do a rep from the bottom and it just sat. You may not notice it because it's only there a second or so. But, if you go to lift a weight and it just doesn't budge, you don't try to cheat and strain and swing so that you can claim you hit failure. You hit failure, you don't. Right? So when we get here, that's what happens. I go to do the final rep and it just sits at the bottom. I'm like, okay, well, that's it. If I can't move it out of the bottom, then we're done. You know, just funny people's perceptions. Funny people's perceptions. But yeah, I think we can tell I'm definitely getting leaner here. The waist is getting a little smaller. You guys can see my hamstrings and stuff better. So body fat is coming down. And like I said, we'll see what's going to happen with the loose skin. I don't know for sure what's going to happen. I suspect it's going to get tighter. You know, I've seen for many, many years something as someone who's had this. I've seen a lot of trainers and coaches, even years ago, say, look, if you get lean enough, it does tighten up. Like I've worked with formerly obese clients, but they had to get pretty shredded before it really got tight. Okay. So, you know, I'm just going to keep working at it and we'll see what happens. Yeah, that set was hard. I had to kind of strain through that. Then one more set of curls. And these are around 15 for the extensions and about right around 12, approximately 12 for the curls. And I'm going a little lighter on the extensions mainly so I don't just beat my elbows up because it seems like still a lot of extensions are hard on my elbows if I'm not careful. And it's not that I can't do them, it's just the tendons feel a little funny for a day or two. And there's no point in making that happen because then I won't be able to do them. So I'm just going lighter and then using that to create fatigue as we get real close to failure. You just got to do a few more reps. But I mean, I'll obviously try to get stronger at them. And then the pullovers I feel went a lot better today. Right, I feel like these went a lot better. The range of motion is slowly improving. The first set, it feels like I need like one set to really get into it. All right, and then after that, they go quite a bit better. But on these, I did, 10 plus. I tried not to really count. I just knew I was in the ballpark of 10. I was focusing as I got further into it more and more on just the stretching, getting that deep breath and trying to stretch as hard as I can at the top, right, to the point to where it hurts. And that's the idea. Stretch it until it hurts. And so I did my 3 sets of these. And like I said, I feel like they're helping. I definitely feel like they're helping. Slowly but surely. And that's come up to people who said, are you doing these purely mobility or are you doing them for hypertrophy also? I'm like, no, I think they have a hypertrophic response. They work a lot of muscles in the upper body. I feel a ton in the mid-trap. I feel some of the kind of parts of the lat. I feel the chest. So those things are being worked, right? They are being worked, I think, with enough stimulus to get a training response. Now, keeping in mind I've done other exercises first, so all those muscles are fatigued, so a smaller exercise like this, it puts them into a stretch. As long as we continue to create more fatigue, should have a hypertrophic response. There's no reason it wouldn't. I mean, I don't think this movement, if you did it first thing fresh, is going to have as big of a response. But when you're tired and then you're taking sets to fatigue after, yeah, definitely. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.